Welcome everyone. Today we're going to have a new interview and today we're going to discuss everything surrounding staking and we're going to do that with Sergii Vasylchuk, who is the CEO and founder of Everstake. We're going to discuss with him why proof of stake is so important, why everybody should be getting interested about staking in itself and why there are different forms of staking and what Everstake tries to do in the cryptocurrency markets, but also what its own intentions are in these crypto markets. So before we're going to continue with the interview, do not forget to subscribe and like this interview and also comment if you want to see some other projects being interviewed by me. So let's get to the interview and have fun today. So as I've just discussed, we're going to discuss everything about staking with Sergii of Everstake. I'm saying it wrong. It's Everstake. Welcome, Sergii. It's a pleasure to have you on. We have had some conversation as well outside of this YouTube channel with our company. How are you doing today?
Hi guys, thank you for having me. Quite well, being exhausted in this market, but still alive and quite happy to be involved in all this crypto building. So generally, I'm fine and I'm happy to be here with you.
Well, you're not the only one being exhausted. I think everyone is working their ass off right now. Could you maybe tell us something about your background, as in you're doing lots of stuff in the crypto space, and not only at Everstake, but also different companies. Why did you enter the blockchain space, and what have you done before? And why did you decide to make that switch towards blockchain? And why do you do the companies that you have right now? It's many questions, but just go ahead.
Yeah, by basically my education and my spirits, I'm engineer, so I'm software developer with quite 20 years of experience. So when I still identify myself as a software developer, despite I'm making more administrative work right now. And from all my career and experience, I was making a code for the internet, for some distributed system, for the payment system. I am a big fan of everything which is going to the network and distributing. I'm a big fan of Usenet technologies, BitTorrent, Torrent, and all my available time I was spending researching and building some cool stuff inside these decentralized networks. Many time I spent building different defraud systems and payment system for the payment institutions, banks. So I was involved in this payment industry for the long time. And then many years ago, I noticed Bitcoin as alternative payment system. I was very curious about it. And my engineer curiosity forced me to learn more about this technology and just trying to dig in more and more. And then I realized that banking itself has quite limited potential for the growth. So they try to limit people from the access of the capital. They try to limit people who do not know much about the finance and so on. And all this restriction that banking trying to do, I call it banking terrorism. So they want to filter customers, calling them terrorists, but they do the same on the market. And then when I understood this and see that banking is quite limited from potential, and I noticed blockchain and Bitcoin, I totally switched. I decided that this is something that I should make a pivot in my career and my joy. And since that, I'm only crypto guy. So I do everything only in the crypto. I'm quite happy to be here, and I do not plan to switch any other niche at any visible time.
Well, you got down the rabbit hole and you're stuck in it, I guess.
Maybe I stuck, but I feel very comfortable stuck in this field.
Yeah.
And of course, first that every engineer started to do it was a change. So I gathered my friends and good developers and require some more investments to make the cryptocurrency exchange. So we tried to do it in very in a more banking way. Because of my banking background, I was trying to do KYC, all this stuff, which will be more licensed, regulated, and so on. And I was wrong those time because people require more financial freedom and wisdom, and they do not want to act the same like in banking system acts. So that's why I believe that we were out of competition and we like lose this battle with the bigger players like Binance. But at the same time, I've compiled a quite strong team with the blockchain and crypto experience. We had a quite significant and robust infrastructure to serve this cryptocurrency exchange. And then I noticed few other blockchains, like which we call those time new generation. So they use proof of stake. They were much more faster than the Ethereum and Bitcoin. And first of them was EOS. So they stated that this blockchain is able to handle thousands of transactions and the block latency just half of a second. I just did not believe it and tried to check myself. So we started the EOS node, tried to verify that the statement, and yes, it worked. I was really impressed that, hey, we have a blockchain which speed and like comparable with the traditional databases. And it was the time then I created Everstake. I did not know that it is Everstake, but I started this in this way.
No, there you go. So could you maybe, you've already touched a little bit about it and how Everstake started, but what does Everstake do, and in what way is it different from just as a retailer staking, for instance? What is the solution that you try to give with the company Everstake?
Well, if we can compare the business model of the Everstake with some existing business model in the crypto, is very similar to mining pool. So imagine that people have mining machines, but the probability of the final block is too low, and they unite in some bigger pool. They unite their computation power, and more computation power they have, the more probability to sign the block. Then mining pool is divided this revenue to the smaller participant. The same situation is here, but with blockchains who use proof of stake instead of proof of work. It means that smaller token holders, which have insignificant number of tokens, can delegate us and unite their stake in one pool, and it gives higher probability to sign the block and to make the rewards. And we are a company, a service who are a staking pool and allow to unite this effort to make more revenue and support
And
staking.
And in like for the people that are listening, in what way is that for someone that's a retail investor different than when they just go to the token and just delegate to a node and just stake there? I mean, for some of those projects that Everstake is in, like for instance Elrond, etc., you can just go there and just stake yourself. But why is
Yeah,
it?
it's exactly that we're doing. So you can select Everstake or any other validator and delegate their stake to them. But you cannot do it for your own, because if you want to do the same stuff for your own, you need to set up the node, you need to maintain it 24/7 and to do all this technical stuff. So we usually do this work for instead of our customers, token holders. They delegate us the right to produce the block. We charge some small commission. It's like depending on the network, is 2, 3, 5, somewhere like 7%, and send the rest to the wallet of the customers.
Well, it's a different topic that I wanted to. I want a different question to ask you right now. How do you see the entire, as you're longer into this market as well, how do you see the current ecosystem developing itself? As in, staking is something that's beneficial for the ecosystem to work or for the project itself to be sustainable. But right now, we've also got yield farming and DeFi and all those liquidity pools and rug pools and all that stuff. How do you see that develop right now?
Well, we need to distinguish staking as more a mining, and staking, which usually cryptocurrency exchanges and other financial centralized exchanges meaning. So for me, as engineering company, staking is the method to support the blockchain, because someone need to run the nodes, and more operator will run the node, the more sustainable will be the blockchain itself. So if no one will run the nodes, blockchain will not exist. So for me, the most important things is to be the part of the blockchain. So I am just a part of each blockchain which we are currently participating as a staking. And this is less financial incentive than more like decentralization and governance incentive. So I recommend for the people who are thinking about delegated proof of stake, it's more about a small reward for their continuous activity in the governance. So staking is something that gives you some bonuses because you are acting on behalf of the network. So you take care about the proposal decision to grow this network. And it's a bit different than the lending pool, where it's purely speculative and economical incentive. So staking, the delegated proof of stake is more governance, is your vote, is your right to make some proposal and to change the direction of this blockchain itself.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's just people hunting for the highest API, and there's just people where they invest into a project and they use this to sustain that platform or the ecosystem that the project is living in, right? That's the difference that we have here. Could you maybe also describe why Everstake has chosen to be a staking company rather than a mining company? As back in the day, we had proof of work. We also had in 2017, we had master nodes and we had all that hype happening. Why did you choose to go for proof of stake and staking rather than proof of work?
Well, I am finding mining for myself quite boring. So there is no anything that I added in value. You just buying some machines, maintaining them, they making significant noise and consuming some electricity. For me, like a guy who is trying to do the products is really boring. From the perspective of the staking, like I am building infrastructure which make blockchain faster and more robust. So I am adding some more significant value to this ecosystem. From my perspective, the most important thing that will happen in blockchain is obviously finance. We can call it DeFi however you want. But the fact that people have the access to the capital and we are not limiting with the banking terrorism is something which is very important. And that's why it's also only possible on the new generation blockchain, which are fast enough, which allow these dApps and application to interact with the same speed like we already used to work with the internet. So my personal belief that DeFi or like blockchain economy will grow only after this, that we will not never think about how long or how expensive transaction will be. It should be the same like a banking. And it's quite achievable. We already have like Solana, we have already like Elrond and many other promising blockchain, which quite cheap and quite efficient. And I just want to be the part of this movement. I want to contribute and build. That's why I'm in the proof of stake and not proof of work.
Yeah, I mean, there's many arguments for proof of work. Well, we still have Bitcoin, which essentially is proof of work. So then the first question comes there is, where do you see it going from here when we have proof of work going to proof of stake? And I already heard some new consensus ideas coming up. Where do you think Bitcoin in itself is heading as one of the only few proof of work mechanisms out there?
Well, it should obviously use proof of work and it will not disappear. It's something that makes it sustainable despite any already technologies, any like wars, whatever. So there are some projects which use proof of work and will use proof of work. It's obviously Bitcoin and it's some like privacy coin. This is the currencies or projects which really don't care about their like fees, commission, and speed. So Bitcoin network really doesn't care about anyone who will be complaining about the speed and commission. Do not want, do not use. Like, but if you like know what are using, be so kind to pay as many commission as required to be this network secure. And the same things in the privacy coin. If you need privacy, please be ready to pay for those privacy. But for more platforms, if we call platforms, is we really need the platforms need to compete for the customers. They need to compete for the fees and efficiency and so on. That's why we have like a lot of platforms, including the Ethereum, which was really great. But it will be just different ways. one thing is the gold, like a Bitvavo is a digital gold. Another thing is just computing power. Another blockchain is storing data, and so on. So the same thing, like we have the plane and cars. Like if you want to move on the longer term, you fly the plane. If you need to ride few streets, just go bicycle. And we cannot compare a bicycle with a plane. It's just different things for the different use cases.
Well, I know that there are some certain groups out there who believe that everything is going to be built on Bitcoin. So I'm wishing them all of luck with that. Like you've discussed that staking is beneficial to be sustainable for the ecosystem. So it makes the ecosystem sustainable and to make it stronger. But are there also big obstacles for proof of stake change that we still have to work with? Are there still issues or problems that we have to fix before we can adapt to mass adoption? And I know one of the answers is scalability, but what do you think in that perspective? As in, we're currently getting into the hype, or we're starting to build blockchains that might be suitable for mass adoption. But are there still big issues at this moment?
I don't think that, as engineer, I don't think the technical is the issue itself. So if we need blockchains, we will be making like 1,000 transactions or 10,000 transactions, whatever number of the transaction is possible. The more question, who will use this number of the transaction, and why people should like use and try those and those technology. My vision is we'll really have few different platforms, but each platform will handle its own way. For example, Ethereum will obviously stay as DeFi platform, and they're moving quite fast to the Ethereum 2.0. And like we're also validating in the second version with Ethereum. At the same time, we have Flow, and Flow say like we don't care about the DeFi. Our network is like NFT and gaming, and they're quite successful in this space. So do Flow compete Ethereum? Obviously no. Are they more efficient than Ethereum in their space? Obviously yes. Does Ethereum more efficient with the Flow in the DeFi? Yes. So do they compete? No, they just like building the block by block our ecosystem. So my vision and my prediction that each of blockchain which will find its market fit in usage will solve all technical problem that they potentially could have.
Yeah, and I guess like it goes with the cycles and with the hypes. Like within a cycle, people build further to fix some issues, and then some new issues come to the horizon, and then they will fix it again in the next cycle. And that's just how technology evolves itself. You've touched that you're going to stake Ethereum as well, or already doing. What coins are you including right now in the company as coins that you're currently staking, and which ones are you might be interested in to include shortly from here?
Currently, we have near 32 blockchains in production. So we are validating in more than 30 blockchains in the mainnet. Another 20 are in our R&D backlog. So frankly speaking, once per week, we're getting email that, hey guys, we're new Ethereum killer projects. Let's take with us.
Yeah.
And like it's like the number is really enormous. Currently, we try and be focused more on the quality, not the quantity, and just because I have a lack of human resources, we cannot like stake and validate in every blockchain. Like the number of the blockchain is growing bigger than I can hire more people and manage the growth of the company. So 30 is like full enough for me.
Well, I've got two questions, and the first one is, how do you? I'm getting emails a lot as well by projects that they're saying like, "Hey, we want some exposure on socials, blah blah blah." Then it's usually DeFi, yield farming, all the hot terms are in there. How do you divide quality from quant, or like quality from just not having quality? And are the key boxes for you that you say, "Hey, yes, this is one that I want to be staking or not"? It has some measures, right?
Yeah, like the first question that I ask for myself is, what will be with those projects after 1 or 2 years? If I can answer this question, that I see the potential demand for those projects, I will probably make a more deep dive into the staking and technology, despite the short-term loss from the financial perspective. So each new blockchain needs support from the validators, and their token are not liquid, and they really could not afford to pay such money for example, Ethereum or Rond or other biggest network does. So it's more about like a venture capital approach. I see what happened with these projects for some period of time. There are like a lot of options, but frankly speaking, dealing with the hundreds of such projects, first of all, we measure how people are responsive and responsible. How do they reply emails? What quality do they have? How quality is their documentation? Is their code stable? What is the quality of the code? So you just communicate with those people, and we have not some very strict due deal. I just see how people are seriously making their work. It is simple. So finance guys are usually measuring how smart this tokenomics is. My DevOps guys usually see how stable this software. Developers see how clear is the code, and everybody is concluded that I like it or does not like. And I see my vision. Do my customers want to stake this token or not? If I see that no, I probably quit this project.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, there's also something else that came up with in this answer from you, is that you want to be open to big investors in the crypto space, but also to institutional investors or big investors outside of the crypto space. First thing that comes up to me is that if you want to stake a certain project, the regulations should be fine then as well, right? You have to deal with those, or you don't deal with them at all. How do you work with regulation in your company right now, as crypto is also going through that cycle?
Well, I'm happy to be more technical company, because just that level, the stake that we do not touch somebody's monies. So customers delegate us the right to produce the block, but we are not custody company. And majority of the payments are made to their own chain. So protocol itself define what portion of the money should be distributed to what wallet. And we currently have close to 4 billion in the total stake or dollar worth in all the networks, but we hold no money from the customers. And I'm really happy to be in such position, and thankful the crypto and technology that is possible. Because if I talk with some bankers who are thinking about 4 billions, and where do you hold it? I don't hold it. I do not store it. It's everything on chain. Nobody can believe it, that it is just possible. Yeah, we are living in the great times that something that was possible before in the banking is possible in the crypto right now.
But are they not like you're holding 4 billion, but you're not holding 4 billion? You're facilitating that amount of money in the pool. Are the regulators not like, how are you doing that? How can we still find a loophole to get you to pay taxes or to punish you? Or is that just not happening at this stage?
It's not happening at this stage, but at the same time, I'm not able to hide any profit, because it's 100% transparent. Yeah. So what I'm waiting is just give me the normal or just clear regulation or rules how I could pay the taxes. Mm-hmm. In my country, I'm trying to be more proactive, speaking with the governments. I spent 2 years helping the national banks and so on. But usually it's quite strange that usually government should hunt guys like us to say, hey, pay taxes, so make these deals. Instead, we are hunting them, help us to understand what is the proper way to communicate with you how to pay taxes. But still, we have no answers.
Well, some countries are doing it the way that they hunt you. For instance, Turkey is not really proactive towards crypto right now. While in other countries, I think, or I feel like the crypto space is actually going to the government to help them out, as it's quite complicated for the government to understand what's happening right now in such a fast pace. I mean, crypto is moving so ridiculously fast right now, which is also great to see actually. When we discussed going further with the crypto cycle, you've stated that you've got about like 30 coins right now in the company. You're looking into 20. Do you feel that the crypto space needs so many platforms or coins or tokens? And you've touched that there are different segments for sure, but do we need all those platforms to be working smoothly at all?
Well, competition works. So we need a competition in order to have the winner. Obviously, we do not need like 50 blockchains for right now. Maybe for some like future, maybe, but not now. And there are several projects which were already like burned. So they died. So they did not find the market fit. And it's also normal. So the more people will contribute their money, knowledges, efforts to this space and try to build something, the more knowledges will be accumulated in this field. And it's normal. So if, for example, 10 blockchains will compete for the NFT and one of them will survive, it will be quite good and significant and like strong project which was able to compete and survive from the other 10 is normal. So do we inside the company think that all the blockchain which is currently staking will survive? No, obviously no. Do we know which will be winner or not? Obviously no. But I'm pretty sure that some of them will survive and they will be huge. I'm pretty sure that the number of the staked assets, the number of the liquid assets, and the number of like capitalization of all the ecosystem will grow significantly. Once upon the day, we'll be like sitting and laughing about the bank, like outdated dinosaurs. So is it something that I try to achieve?
Well, well, yeah. I mean, banks are maybe ending relatively soon, or at least we're going into the decentralized space. Question that I'm getting a lot is from investors is that should I be staking my investments? Maybe you can touch on that point. Do you see it as important that people start to understand what staking means and also why it can be beneficial to your investment portfolio? Or is it more on a technical approach?
Well, first of all, yes, you need and you should learn how to stake, at least for the few tokens. It's just education and it's just the way to understand how it works and why should it work. From the investment point of view, usually crypto summer and bull cycle is not beneficial for us because when people try to sell all their stake assets, it's like we're losing the stake. But during the bear cycle, nobody is able to generate like 100 ticks per day. They are looking for like average return, like 7-10% is good for them, and they return back to the staking. We have several groups of the customers which are quite conscious about the staking. One of them is like more long-term investors and holders. So their goal is to obtain some permanent token, to put them in the cold wallet, and to forget about them for the 1-2 years. If you have some holdings long-term, obviously staking is the most secure way to have some passive rewards from your holding. You just having your crypto on the cold wallet, like store it in some secure place, stake with some guys, like Everstake or maybe other validators do you what you like. Nobody touch your crypto. You just receiving the staking reward from the network itself. Yeah, and it's just like free money. If you are actively trading and you need your stake to be liquid, you should be cautious about this because depending from the network, it usually locked your assets for the few times or in a few weeks. And sometimes your people like I see in my group chat and my support chat that, hey guys, like token XYZ is already 100x, like help me to unstake because I want to sell it. Like I cannot help you. It's just protocol. Like, did you read something before the staking? No, I just read that it's give you like 20%. I had to stake. Well, like you was greedy to the 20% and was not able to educate yourself. Now you're crying that you are losing money because your token is somewhere like in the moon. So do your own research. Before you want to stake, just take a few tokens and understand how it works, what is risk inside. And only after this will stake full your amount.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's with every investment you have to read before you do something. It's also with staking. I've seen it happening so often that people are just staking and then they are like, oh, 20-day lockup. What do I do now? So yeah, read everything before you start investing in general. I mean, it's a very complex world and staking is not too complex, but you have to understand the mechanism of this entire system at all.
What I want to add about the staking and the traders, because the new system, the new approach in the staking is liquid stake. We also participate in a few projects and do own the project which issue the derivative on your staked assets. So you can stake, then receive the tokens which represent your stake. It will be some like depository receipts, for example. And those depository receipts are tradable, for example, on the Uniswap. So if you're a trader and need your stake to be liquid, try to see the projects like LIDA or any project which will promise you also to return back the liquid stake token. It would be useful for you.
Well, the only issue you have is when you swap it through Uniswap, you lose a significant amount of your profits through fees. But hey, there you go. But
yeah, but I said before, Ethereum is becoming the network for the rich guys. If you are moving just $100, like it's not the place, and that's why more and more good platform will have the place under the sun.
Well, another question that I have regarding people that probably are listening right now and maybe want to do something with staking. Do you accept every client to your platform or to the company, or are there any limits if somebody wants to stake through you?
No limits. Like I hate limits. I don't want to be the banks and limit with the people. I really don't care who you are, like, and what crypto do you have and how much do you have. You are free to stake with us, like, as less as possible, as is have some common sense with the number of the commission. So currently, as I remember, we have like 250,000 customers around all the networks. With one of the few validators who have no limits and accept any amounts. Moreover, like in some networks, we're losing the money because we pay more fees to pay this reward if customers just want to play. But at the same time, like I feel some obligation. So if I will not provide the customer the ability to play with some $1 tokens, what value I bring to this market? So stake with me just one cent and I will pay you for your fees. Not worry.
All right, then. Well, I think it was a pretty good interview or a discussion regarding staking. I liked it a lot. I hope my listeners start to understand a little bit more about why staking is so important for the ecosystem. I've got a final question to all the people that I interview, and that is the following. It's a personal question. If you are 40 years older from now and you have to look back to your life, what is the ultimate goal that you want to achieve? And then you're looking back in a happy manner. What do you try to achieve in your life?
Well, I already asked
World
this
peace,
question
no.
for myself, and fortunately, I'm quite happy with something that I'm doing. And every day, I understand that I'm in the proper place, in the proper time. I'm building, and I have building the business which I enjoy, and my work is equal to my joy and my passion. So it's first my passion, then is the business. What I will be thinking about, like after 40 years, I will trying to build. I will trying to make everything possible that blockchain will survive and become bigger than the banks. So I did it like 5 years ago. I'm doing it right now. I will be doing for the 5 years. Nothing will change.
All right. Well, finally, where can we find you if we want to have some more information? It will also be in the description. But where can we find more information about Everstake or about you personally on the socials?
Well, just go to the website everstake.one. You can find all the links to all social media of the Everstake and support chat. Please free to join this support chat in the Telegram. There are many people inside from our teammates who will answer any questions about the staking. Really, like we have a dedicated person to a few blockchains which can help you to understand how it works. We also produce that ton of content regarding the staking. So we decided to write the article how to stake each coin on each platform, on each wallet. So it's like hundreds of articles, but we patiently do it and will continue to do. So go to the Everstake, go to our social media and Medium, and you will find like all the questions. If you will not find, just enter our chat and just ask my guys how to stake X coin with Z wallets in your mobile, Android, iPhone, whatever you have. Will really help you.
Well,
It's our mission.
That's simply amazing. I mean, there's lots of people with lots of questions regarding staking, and if you can provide it, I'll definitely put it into my description, and maybe also just put it in other YouTube videos when I discuss this topic, because that's very important for people. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time. It's been a pleasure, and I'm wishing you all the best of luck with the company and your mission as well. So thank you very much, Sergii.
Thank you for having me here, Guy. Thank you for educating yourself. Thank you in this niche and this market. Educate yourself. Listen for the Mikhail and all his group and all his business. He's also a good guy. Stake your assets, educate yourself, believe in this market, and let's build this market together.
And not forget, always keep smiling.
Yep. Despite the market, despite the exhaustion, keep smiling.
All right, man. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.